Blair here. Great to have you join me today for 10 minutes of morning calm. And today we're going to talk about, this idea of passing it on and the idea of circuits and how all that works and what insights maybe we can have. At New Church Live, we're very, very fortunate to have a sermon writing team who meets once a week. They're the ones who helped put together Sunday sermons. They've been meeting for 16 years now, just about to be 17 years. Pretty amazing group of people. And what we were talking about yesterday, and this was something a dear friend Teresa Huber brought up, is Reverend Teresa Huber brought up as part of the group, is she said her husband was mentioning to her electricity if electricity is not flowing, it's nothing. In other words, it doesn't exist, which is kind of fascinating because we were talking about how all things are connected. Again, here'd be a simple example. If I had a little mini extension cord on my hands right now and it wasn't plugged in anything and I was just holding it, there'd be nothing in it. There would be no electricity in that actual thing. Now, again, batteries are different and blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But actually in that thing, there is no thing. There's nothing. But when I connect it to the wall and then I connect it to, say, a vacuum cleaner, all of a sudden it is filled with electricity. Kind of interesting, right? Either electricity isn't there or it is, and it depends on whether we're connected into a circuit or not. And that has all kinds of really interesting spiritual principles. From a Christian New Church perspective, we don't divide religion and science at all. We think that they go together hand in glove. Math is the voice of God. Like there's all kinds of ways you could look at that. So we could look at something physical like that and think, oh yeah, what does that have to do with life? Like what are lessons that I could bring into my life that would draw me closer to other people and closer to God? That's a core question right there. And what I want to share about circuits and about passing it on is this idea of peace. Big fan of Etty Hillesum and her famous book, which she wrote during the Holocaust, and she actually ends up dying in Auschwitz. But it's an amazing read. It's sort of an adult Anne Frank. It would be how the book would read. And she goes through a lot of spiritual transformations as a part of her journey. And many of them, when you read it and you hear her discuss them, they really make a lot of sense. It's like it's speaking to something that we kind of know in our hearts is true about our lives spiritually, true about our souls, true about other people's souls. And she just puts really good language to it. And one of the things she wrote in her book was this beautiful, beautiful concept around peace. And this is a beautiful, beautiful phrase by Etty Hillesum. Ultimately, we have just one moral duty: to reclaim large areas of peace in ourselves, more and more peace, entirely reflected towards others. And the more peace there is in us, the more peace there will also be in our troubled world. Now, there's so many beautiful parts to that, folks. One is she starts out by saying is to reclaim peace in ourselves, and just think of the situation she's in. She literally wrote this from what was called during World War II a ghetto, and it was a Jewish ghetto where they had collected a lot of Jewish prisoners. She was Jewish and was converted to Christianity, and yet she was still in this camp. And she said, she starts up by saying, "Yeah, our job, all of our jobs, is to reclaim the peace that is within." I want to really hone in on that word reclaim. It's reclaiming this thing that is within. And then and again, beautiful phrase here. Make sure that it's entirely reflected towards others. So we take this piece that is within and we entirely reflect it towards others. Remember, I talked about the extension cord. That's where we plug it into a source that is within, and that is God's life moving through it. And then we plug it in elsewhere in our life so that that peace can flow because other people have it too. Now, does that mean that we'll always work that simply? That just by going on broadcasting peace into other people's lives, that they'll all of a sudden become peaceful if they're in a really agitated state? I think the answer to that is obviously no, but it will make the world a better place. It will make the world a kinder place, and that's just how it keeps on working. We just keep on doing that, doing that, doing that as kindly and as gently as we can. And then all of a sudden, that little cord starts to fill with peace. And that peace that's in with me starts to flow and connect with the peace that's in you. And again, coming back to our words, entirely reflected towards others. Because we entirely reflect that towards others, it gets reflected back towards us. And then we really start working through the better angels of our nature. That's something we can think about, as we go into this weekend is is really think, oh yeah, how do I reflect peace into the lives of others? How do I connect to that? And it's not, friends, it's never, it's such a beautiful, beautiful Christian New Church concept. It's never about a love that flows kind of from the top of the mountain down. It's about a mutual love. That word mutual is used all the time if you read through Christian New Church theology. And it's that idea. And it's why Jesus lived in the world, so that Emmanuel, God with us. It's love that works this way. It's love that works across one plane, one person to another, one, with God among us, where two or three are gathered, there I am in the midst. It's that idea of this kind of movement back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then guess what? Instead of having nothing, you got something. And we're living in a world that really needs, as much peace as we can bring to it. So, friends, I'm going to read you the quote again, and may you just hold it as your little charge this weekend. Ultimately, we have just one moral duty: to reclaim large areas of peace in ourselves. More and more peace, entirely reflected towards others. And the more peace there is in us, the more peace there will be in our troubled world. There's your charge for the weekend. So take care, dear friends. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and hope you have a great weekend ahead. And what we're going to do now is we're always do. We're going to shift gears. And we shift gears here at Futures Live. We have a quiet time. In the quiet time, we ring a prayer bell. We do a little Old Testament meditation. We do a little prayer. We do a little blessing. And then we say hi to folks on social media. So to get us started, folks, let's all just get a breath. And the be still and know God. Be still, know that I am. Be still, know that I. Be still, know that. Be still and know. Be still and be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to folks who might have joined us online. And again, I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. I'm very happy to have a few little technical glitches here. I'm super happy to have a great weekend ahead with a couple of weddings, which are very much fun to do. Okay, a couple of comments here. I'm sorry, everything's working a little slowly here. Melissa, good morning to you and happy Friday to you and your family. Kim writes, good morning from San Antonio. Kim, you must be nice and warm and toasty out there. You can tell by my sweatshirt. It's still a little cold springish out here. And all right, let's flip over onto this. Okay, we're almost there, friends. Sorry, this is I have two offices, and this one has sometimes struggles with internet connection. So here we go. Last set of comments here. All right, Marcus, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Linda, good morning to you, and we will see you at the wedding tonight, which will be very, very much fun. Sherry, have a peaceful weekend. Oh, Sherry, that's beautiful. And yeah, just yeah, you know what? Peace entirely reflected towards others. Yeah, let's just do a little bit of that and see how it changes the world. So, thank you, friends, very much. A final word about your wonderful financial support of New Church Live. God bless. Talk to you soon. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter of New Church Live today. All right, dear friends. God bless. Have a great weekend.